you might be wondering, looking at a 17-year-old like me, who hasn't even finished high school yet, what in the world does she know about the quest of our lifetime and love? And yet, here I am, clueless about my future, clueless about my passions in life, and most naturally, single since 2002. Nice to meet you. Well, so I guess you think it's a pretty much arrogant approach of mine to talk about the quest of our lifetime without even figuring out my own. Pitiful, I know. But I think it is of great significance that I talk about this now, because it is us, teenagers, who are going through the hardest and most complicated, confusing phase in our lives. Puberty. You all know what I'm talking about. So, the thing I would like you to give it a thought is that why do you and me, as human beings, we teenagers, need to do the things that we love, need to feel this pressure of doing what we love for a career? Well, I sure want to do what I love. I don't want to suffer every day, and I guess you all agree here with me. But what about need? Do we even know what love actually is? The thing you most love today may be the thing you most hate tomorrow or the day after, and vice versa. But the point I would like to make here is that even though you may be in a job or a hobby that you love and you're passionate about, your surroundings, your atmosphere that you live in might not be great and might not be fulfilled in matters of satisfaction for the whole. So it doesn't matter if you're pleased with yourself and if you're happy with yourself when everyone around you isn't, when the atmosphere around you isn't. Well, coming back to me, in this year's beginnings, the last year of high school, they know what I'm talking about. It is a year of choice, a year of hard work, of concerning, of planning the future and planning your aspirations in your life. There was I, lying in my bed, wearing my very mature Batman pajamas, and thinking, how come I, with 17 years old, still be boyfriendless? Well, safe to say, now that I look back, shame hits me like a monster truck. I wasn't even thinking of whether I would like to do university or if I would want to be, well, a ballerina, because I love to dance, and that's what I love, and, well. So, I wasn't even thinking about this, but I said, well, it doesn't matter. Time heals, right? Time heals everything. So I said, in the end of the year, I will know what I'm going to do. And then the months passed. January, Valentine's Day, April, May, June, July, and I, still single, remained clueless about my aspirations in life. Until one day, I went to a family reunion, a big, big mistake. Filled with old folks, I must say. A great an aunt of mine came up to me with her big glasses, and she said to me like this, "Oh, I haven't seen you for so long, Maria. You're in your last year of high school, right? Oh, you must figure out what you're going to do. A doctor? We really need doctors in our family. Your grandmother is needing a doctor right now. And what about lawyer? I would like a lawyer. But you need to figure it out. There's only 2 months left. What are you going to do?" You should never, ever, ever ask a senior high school student this question. Our brain goes into mayhem. The system collapses. It breaks down. The little gray cells in our mind, they begin to panic. What am I going to say? I can't say I don't care because I care, but we don't actually know. And people will judge you, and your relatives will begin to pressure you into what are you going to do, whether you like or you're not. So I didn't really know what to say. Then I, as insightful as a door should be, I answered, "Not a clue." The lady was red as a tomato. She became angry at me. I didn't understand why. Did she want to live my life for me or what? She was like this. How come? How come you don't know what you're going to do? We need to honor your parents. Your parents didn't raise you to be homeless. What do you like? What do you don't like? You need to like something. You dislike something, right? But what do you love? Love? That's when it struck me. I didn't know what I loved. I don't know what I actually love. Do we? Because it is a simple word, but its abstract meaning is much more intimidating than we believe it is. Safe to say that I didn't answer the teenage hunter lady, but this thought kept inside my mind the whole week and the days after. Why did we pursue love? Why did we need to do what we love? Why did we urge to go for that path? Well, everyone wants to do what they love, right? Everyone wants to be happy, to feel pleased. So I came up to the thought that there are three types of people. There's the first person who thinks, oh, I'm passionate about medicine. I'm going to be a doctor and I'm going to love about it. Or I'm going to be a dancer and I'm going to be the best dancer there is. And I'm going to be happy. There's the second person who doesn't know what they're going to do in life. Or they don't want to do many hard work or want to go through a path that gives them more prosperity. We all know I'm talking about the big check on your pocket. And there's also the third person who says, what the hell, I'm going for the lottery every day. In this room, these three people are in here. Each one of you represents one of them, but in its variations, of course. If we analyze thoroughly these three types of people, we know and we come to the conclusion that they are looking for one thing. Wanna guess? It is a tiny, teeny little thing, only the answer to the big question in our lives. Why are we here? I know. Oh, you do? Natural selection? No. Bam! We are here for happiness. We are here to be happy. We want to be happy and we want to feel the pleasure for it. We want to achieve our life's dreams by being happy and by feeling the way that we want. Is there anyone here who doesn't like to be happy? No, I'm seriously. Is there anyone here who is like, oh no, I hate the feeling of happiness in my body. I want to suffer. Punk. I hope not. But do we really know what happiness is, just like love? Well, way back in ancient Greece, when those old so-called philosophers were cracking their minds trying to find meaning in existence, one guy, not a very significant one, you may not know him, is Aristotle. He said he figured it all out. He said, we are looking for eudaimonia. Yeah? Well, the Greeks had the exact look that you have on your faces right now. They said, what in the world is eudaimonia? Apart from being a foreign word and very intimidating, I think, well, we roughly translated it to happiness. Well, it all makes sense, right? We're looking for happiness, so Aristotle would think that we want our eudaimonia to be exactly like happiness. Actually, no. In fact, if the poor old guy was alive, he would sure have a heart attack. Eudaimonia most precisely means the quest for virtue. Virtue, you say? Yeah, virtue. In his thoughts, virtue would mean not only achieving happiness for yourself, but also for others around, in your atmosphere around you. So, are we really so selfish in our needs that the meaning of happiness is only for ourselves, is only for our own pleasures? Because we need to understand that everyone passes through worries and everyone goes to different situations. Because big news for you, all of you want to be happy for yourselves. And we, unfortunately, not knowingly, we only care for our own selves. We are arrogant in our self-default settings, but we don't even realize that because we think that this is the way for us to achieve happiness. Ever since we were little kids, we are taught to conquer our dreams, achieve our goals, and for that, go to every obstacle that there is in our way, even if they are people. But if you really, truly achieve what you love, but the atmosphere around you is not well, you're not going to be satisfied. You, your spiritual and mental self, are not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to achieve your eudaimonia. Take a look at the person sitting next to you. Go, take a look. You're like the same. You have hair, nose, ears, mouth, glasses, some of you. Well, my aunt has. But inside, you are also the same. Because you go through issues and problems. But sometimes we don't know what the person sitting right next to you is going through. If it is worse or better than yourself, or if it is exactly the same. Picture this. You're in a car, going home after work, and you're tired. You just want to sit on your couch, grab a beer, and watch a good old season of Game of Thrones. But the traffic is awful. And you're irritated and you're frustrated with yourself. However, there's an opening, and you're going to go for it, until a car, fast as a jet, cuts you right through it. You become angry. You curse the car extensively, and you are frustrated as others around you are as well. But what if, in that car, there was an epileptic kid having an attack, and the driver, his father, needed to get to the hospital as fast as possible, or else the kid would die. We need to understand each one of us goes through the same worries, struggles, pain, and also joy. Each and everyone different, but we can't measure and compare it to one another. It is us wanting to get home. It is us wanting to grab a beer. It is us urging for that episode that was made specially for you. The car got in your way in the traffic, but wasn't you in his way? Is the world happening to you, or you happening to the world? In this sense, we need to figure out if we do really need to do what we love, only for ourselves. I'm not telling you to suffer for the rest of your life, and oh, I want to be a painter, but I'll have to do law school because my mother wants me to do, and because, as you said, I don't need to do the things that I love. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we need to cultivate love in our daily routines, even though we don't do it for a career. Because if we only think that our final ultimate goal in life needs to be the thing you most love and is passionate about, then what about your other branches in life? They're going to be left out. So I say that we need to keep balance. We need to cultivate in our routine love. In family, work, career, life. Even though you don't want to be a doctor and you want to be an artist or something else, you don't need to feel pressurized about it. Because you can cultivate the pleasures in life every day. So you don't need to decide it right now. You have a whole life ahead of you. Well, I, for example, my dream, my love, my passion is to be a dancer. I really want that. And although it is really difficult, if I choose this path, it may become a burden for me because my other branches in life will rely on this because it is my passion. But what if I do other things that I like because I love so many things, I like so many things, and I keep dancing, and I keep having a good family and good friends? This is the palace I'm talking about, because happiness can be found even in the darkest of times and in the smallest of places, as my master Dumbledore once said. If one only remembers to turn on the light. But what is this light I'm talking about? It is a light of awareness that everyone goes through the same things as you go. Worries, pain, struggles, and love. So, how I define what I'm going to do for my living? No, not a clue yet. And I have 2 months left. But I know that I want to maintain balance in my life and cultivate satisfaction and love in everything around me, even if it is doing what I love for work, or being with my family, or learning how to cook when I'm living alone. Because love is where you want it to be and where you make it be. We must act, not wait, in order to achieve true happiness, in order to achieve our eudaimonia. I say to you then, it is not who you are inside your selfish, arrogant, default setting selves that defines you, but what you do around you and to the world to change you. Thank you.